Hello, my name is Liz Fitzgerald. Thanks for checking out the Cultural Vision Grant program offered by the Arts and Science Council. Drawing on the Cultural Vision Plan and recent feedback from community surveys and meetings with creative individuals, ASC seeks to support high-quality arts and culture projects presented within Mecklenburg County by the individuals and organizations that make a home here and that advance one of the following goals. First, to build community by connecting individuals across points of difference. Maybe this is a festival, a performance group, an after-school project that gives us the opportunity to leave our bubbles and build bridges with each other. Second, we seek to build community by nurturing, celebrating, and supporting authentic cultures and creative expression. This might look like projects that center the unique contributions of people from diverse cultures and communities who make a home here in Charlotte. Third, we look to increase relevance by using arts, science, and history to address complex community issues. Perhaps this is the light of history to help us understand and address white supremacy and its impacts in gentrification and economic disparities here in Charlotte. Perhaps you're using scientific engagement to help us understand and make changes around climate change. Perhaps you're using arts and creative inquiry to help us cope with mental health issues or to build a creative force that is economically viable. Fourth, we're looking to increase innovation by supporting the creation of new and groundbreaking work. We know that to grow as a city, we need to invest in the creatives who are making that new work that takes us to the next level. All eligible projects must take place in Mecklenburg County. We look forward to supporting science projects that engage the community in the wonder and the interest in environmentalism. We look forward to history projects that help us understand where we have been and in that know where we're going as a community. We look forward to celebrating arts projects presented by visual artists, craft artists, performers of all sorts. You may also have a project that combines any of these areas. Each call has a designated time frame. Please check our website to make sure that the project you're presenting fits within the time frame for our current call. Every project must be led by someone based in Mecklenburg County, be that a Mecklenburg organization or a creative individual who lives here. We do welcome collaborative projects. Be sure to identify the best person to serve as your project lead in applying to the grant. ASC commits to cultural equity in all our investments, including the Cultural Vision Grants. While we invite everyone who is doing arts, science, and history programming in Mecklenburg to apply, we are specifically interested in lifting up those who have often been left out of the institutional grant-making process, including those programs that are led by seniors, disabled people, immigrants, those with low incomes, women and girls, LGBTQIA folk, and those of African, Latino or Latina, Asian, Arab, and or Native American descent. In addition to recognizing a need for cultural equity, we also want to make sure that we are lifting up projects that occur beyond the Center City area and really reach throughout all of Charlotte and the towns that make up our county. We seek programs that engage communities in scientific and historic curiosity in addition to great arts programming. And we look for participatory audience experiences. We routinely hear from the community that they want to be able to get involved in the work that is created. A Cultural Vision Grant can be up to a $10,000 award. In practice, Our grants range from $1,000 up to that full $10,000 amount, and the average size award is around $5,600. Grantees are required to provide matching support towards the project expenses. Generally, what that means is you will be asked to provide a dollar-for-dollar cash match to your ASC Cultural Vision Grant Award, or a combination of cash or in-kind contributions equaling the amount that you would be awarded by ASC. If you are invited to the full application, the panel members will give you a specific amount that you are invited to apply for based on the need expressed in your initial application and the range of grants that they know that they are considering in that time period. There are some restrictions in who is eligible to apply. Current ASC operating support partners are not eligible for Cultural Vision grants at this time. Also, if you have a current vision grant that is not yet completed and won't complete before the start of this next application period, you must wait until that grant and project is completed before applying again. Projects that are religious in nature or specifically serve only church membership are not eligible. The same goes for faculty and student body at institutions of higher education. We're looking to support programs that are open to the broad public rather than the specific constituents at your institution. Youth programming during the school day is not eligible. We are glad to support after-school programming, classes for youth, and summer camp experiences. Organizations that are delinquent on paperwork for past ASC grants must get that paperwork taken care of before you're eligible for a new grant. Finally, multiple requests from the same organization are not eligible. There may be some exceptions if you're part of a large organization, such as a YMCA or a college or university. If that is your situation, please reach out to our program staff so that we can help you discerning if you are eligible. We use a two-phase application process to be good stewards of your time and our investments in the community. The first phase of our application is the initial application. This is really the moment where the panel decides which are the projects that show the closest alignment with the Cultural Vision Grant goals and our cultural equity priorities, and selects those to move forward into the full application. With the initial application, they will be looking at key components of your proposal, including who your creative leadership is, project partners that you have, and preliminary details about the purpose, financial needs, times, and locations of your program. If you are invited to the full application, you will be asked to submit further detailed budget information, project descriptions, audience development plans, marketing strategies, and goals and evaluation processes that you will employ. ASC staff will consult with applicants throughout the application process. At the initial phase, we're glad to help answer your questions while you are submitting that initial work. And as you move through the full application, we'll be sure that you are addressing key questions from the review panel and that your project is ready to launch if we award funding. All applications must be submitted using our online application system. From the Cultural Vision Grant call on our website at artsandscience.org, use the button that says click here to apply to initiate an application. If you have previously initiated that application, make sure to go to the place where it says click here to continue a previously started application so that you can find the work that you have already begun. The initial application is your key opportunity to pitch your project to the grant panel members. It is meant to be a brief and compelling call for why your project should be supported. We will need key contact information for the lead person managing the application, organizational details if you're applying on behalf of an organization, and fiscal sponsors if you are an organization that does not have your own nonprofit status. You will select one of the 4 Cultural Vision Grant goals and describe how your project helps to meet that community priority. Make sure to tell us about the creatives leading your project and the community partnerships that will help amplify the reach and impact of your project. Provide as much detail as you can about project dates and locations. This is an important part of how panelists assess your readiness to put your ideas into action. We do ask key demographic information to make sure that we are supporting our commitment to cultural equity. And finally, you will provide details about the different sources of financial support you can use to match a grant from ASC. We use this information to understand your need and to determine how much you can request if you are invited to the full application. We, of course, put that information into context with how much we have in funding available to support the projects that have applied. The budget information is founded in the understanding that Cultural Vision Grants are matching grants. Typically, ASC's investment will be no greater than 50% of a project's budget. The 3 questions that we ask related to your budget in the initial application is how much cash? What's the total budget of cash that you will need to make this project possible? How much of that will you be able to raise from other sources? And who are those other sources? Is it another grant or funder that you have supporting you? Do you have sponsors that are helping? Is it things like ticket revenue that you'll be relying on and developing as the project is implemented? You can include both cash expenses and in-kind expenses as part of this description of how you will match the grant if you were invited to receive a Cultural Vision Grant. There are 5 key elements that our panel uses to determine who receives a Cultural Vision Grant. In the initial application, the key components that they're looking at is vision, the evidence that the project will advance the Cultural Vision Grant's objectives to build community and increase relevance and innovation in Charlotte Mecklenburg, and leadership, evidence that your project has the creative leadership and committed partnerships necessary to bring this project to fruition. We go into further detail if you're invited to the full application that helps us have evidence that you know who your audience is and how you will reach that audience, the impact that you will measure as you work through your Cultural Vision Grant project, and a detailed budget will be required as part of your full application. Thank you for expressing interest in the Cultural Vision Grant. Please reach out if you have questions along the way, and we look forward to hearing the ideas that you are bringing to Charlotte and Mecklenburg to engage all of us in arts, science, history programming that is relevant and meaningful for all of us. Thank you.